Hey, hello guys, welcome again to our session on Appium, and in this session we will try to introduce you to Appium. Basically, in the previous session we discussed about Selenium, how you can make a project in Selenium and how you can proceed with making a test project and the required libraries and all the things. So similar kind of thing will be followed in Appium also. Appium, as I already introduced you to Appium, because saying this, that Appium actually is an extension of WebDriver API. So why different uh, automation framework which are available on the market? Why to choose Appium? So there are multiple reasons behind it. So let's first compare some automation framework available in the market. So we have Calabash iOS, Frank UI automation, iOS driver, keep it functional. So similar kind of thing on iOS platform, and on Android we have Calabash Android, Monkey Talk, Robotium, UI Automator, Cell Android. So basically, if you work with one of those, so they actually are targeting only one platform. So if you are, say, using Frank, so basically it's only on iOS. If you are using Robotium, it's only on Android. Even if they are on different platform, they have some certain limitations which you cannot take advantage of to get used to on another platform. So basically each of these have some certain limitations. Fine. Appium, in before talking about Appium, we should talk about Monkey Talk, as it's available on both for iOS as well as on Android, but it's a record and play kind of thing. When you start as a fresher in automation, you just play with these, and you record your playing, record your scripts and test cases, and then you can run again and again. So still there are some limitations, there are some restriction. You have to have the access of your source code, because without having your source code you cannot integrate their libraries. And yes, library is important. Robotium, Monkey Talk, Frank, all have their library, which you have to include in their in your project, in your source code, before making a executable file. So basically you are changing your application by making by implementing or by integrating their files. So what exactly Appium is? So according to their definition, it's an open source tool for automating native mobile web and hybrid application on iOS and Android platforms. So talking about native, hybrid and mobile web. So mobile web, you already know, whatever your site is, uh, say your site is working on desktop browser, so same site can be open on mobile browsers also. Fine. So it can be called that, if it fits itself according to it fits itself according to the mobile screen resolution or mobile screen size, it can be called as responsive. So there are many sites, say Google. If you open Google on desktop browser, it takes the whole space of the browser which you open on desktop. But the same Google, if you open in the mobile web, so it will change accordingly to him, that browser. Now coming to Appium philosophy, you have before that there was a point called native and hybrid. Native are the elements which run on which are made using Android and iOS uh, native code. If you talk about Android and iOS, Android is working on Android, basically Android language, which is based on Java, and iOS is on Objective C and Swift. So those are made using uh, Android and iOS native code. And in hybrid, all are having some component of web, like HTML, CSS, etc. So coming on to Appium philosophy, like we already discussed these, you shouldn't recompile your app, you shouldn't be locked to a specific language, the automation framework shouldn't reinvent the wheel, a mobile automation framework should be open source. So all these things are pretty clear. You see, uh, we use whatever language you want. If you're using C, you using Perl, Python or Java, you should be able to go good to go in automation. So Appium support all those kind of thing. All these four philosophy are their main thing. You shouldn't have to recompile your app, because it says that whatever application you are going to release in market, you just automate on those applications. You shouldn't make any kind of library changes. You shouldn't recompile the app. You shouldn't be stuck into a specific language. Plus it shouldn't reinvent the things. You shouldn't be in terms of reinventing, it means that it use all the Selenium WebDriver API itself. So it is not reinventing anything. It's just using whatever is already available in market. So it's basically extending the Selenium WebDriver API. And if you are good in Selenium, if you know Selenium commands, if you're used to use Selenium in your past projects, you are basically you don't need any kind of more preparation. You just you can just start to run automation on iOS and Android platform. Coming on Appium Design, basically it uses internally on iOS, it uses Apple's UI automation. Basically a UI automation is provided by Apple. On an Android, it uses Google's UI automator for 4.2 and above, and for 2.3 and below it uses instrumentation. Sorry, 2.3 to 4.2 it uses Google's instrumentation, and for 4.2 and above it uses Google's UI automator. So basically, as these are provided by Google and Apple respectively, so it doesn't need to again reinvent the wheel. Fine. So it's just you're taking the advantage of the technology which is already available on the platform. So basically it's not doing anything new. UI automator is already present, UI automation is always present. It's just taking advantage of those things which are present. So that's basically its design. If you talk about the Appium Concepts, so basically how it works, its architecture, it's a kind of client server architecture, fine, where Appium plays the role of a server, and you have whatever client you have. Say you are using Java client, so you write your script in Java and send it to a server, and Appium executes those scripts and send the response back to you. So it's basically this kind of server client architecture. So you can also it has session, it has desired capabilities, and it has, so if you see in this image, you are having this language. This is the kind of client. Now we have Appium running in the middle of the device plus your client. I mean, it's playing as a server. You run your script, whatever language you are using, it gets it's using UI automator of Android like we discussed, and it sends your script back to this device, and whatever the result is, it gets it from the device and sends it back to the client, to you, whatever you are using. If you use Java, and similar with the case of iOS, fine. So again, it runs the instrumentation commands on the client, that is your iPhone or simulator. Whatever language you choose, it's your choice. You just send the script, and you get back the result. Fine. So this is the kind of Appium architecture over there, which is not very much complex in terms of UI understanding. Now we have session, we have desired capabilities, we have Appium server and Appium clients. So what exactly desired capability and session are, you will get to know in our upcoming videos. Just at this point I can say that everything in the Appium is termed or is recorded in terms of session. Fine. Whatever you do, it's related to a session. If you are running a script on your device, on your server, it's basically running inside a session. Fine. So in desired capability is nothing but just setup of some particular capabilities which you want to have on your device on which you run. Fine. So say you want a Android device on 5.0 platform on as a landscape orientation. plus if you want screen size is this, or I mean whatever you want, you keep those things in desired capabilities. So this was about it. Appium server and client, we already discussed about it, and we will see more about these things in the coming video. Thanks again for joining this session. Thanks very much.